Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we are going to be watching Plague by Sodaz. We're going to be doing another Warhammer reaction by popular demand. Don't want to bore you too much, but I'm a former Marine, did 4 years as a Pogue, 2006 to 2010, deployed 0708 to Iraq, didn't do that much crazy stuff, just a few crazy things, and got trained by some pretty crazy fellows. Like to think I know a thing or two about violence. Got out, got my 4-year degree, became a cop, did 4 years on the road, and then 1 year in the schools. Like to think that both of these things informs my knowledge of violence. So I'm going to bring my knowledge of violence to a phenomenal Warhammer 40,000 animation, and let's just do it. Let's go. All right. So as with all my reactions, if you want to watch the original, go to Sodaz, S-O-D-A-Z, go to Plague, P-L-A-G-U-E, and watch the video for yourself. That way you don't have to deal with it with my commentary. This is my commentary. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to talk about things. And if you want to, you're going to listen. So what's funny about this is, like, I analyze things from a tactical standpoint. I understand that actually in my Sodaz Death Corps of Krieg reaction, some people were saying these are chaos cultists. They're unaware of tactics. They don't care if they live or die. And that's true, potentially true. But I don't want to suspend my disbelief by inserting a portion of the lore in order to believe something or not believe something. I would rather just see it and believe it. And one of the things that's kind of, I don't want to say silly, but one of the things that is a tactical error on behalf of the Nurgle cultists that just got the shit kicked out of them is some of them took cover. Great. Good for you. Take cover. The difference between cover and concealment: cover is something that can stop bullets. Concealment is something that cannot. Concealment will hide you. Cover will stop bullets. But what did some of them do? They walked right up to the door. And then the door got blasted apart. Now, maybe they thought that it wasn't going to be Space Marines. Maybe thought it was going to be another opponent. And maybe that's why they felt comfortable getting close to the door. But either way, they potentially could have taken friendly fire from the back. And while you might be a Chaos Cultist who doesn't care whether or not you live or die, or the Plague God doesn't believe... No, Nurgle loves all his creation. So I actually don't believe that Nurgle cares whether or not these cultists... or doesn't care whether or not these cultists die. Nurgle loves his creations. And we'll get into Nurgle in a second for those of you who are unaware of the Chaos Gods. But the tactics of breaching, blowing in a door, which gives you the element of surprise, throwing in flashbangs, which I don't think are on the tabletop, but of course they could absolutely exist in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Blind and disorient their opponents. While they're blinded and disoriented, Space Marines with their accuracy and hyper-powerful weapons blast apart the cultists, and now they're all dead, and the Marines are going to enter unchallenged and blow the rest of them apart. So let's enjoy that for a second. So these are Ultramarines, the 13th Legion. They are Space Romans. They are the fanboys, not the fanboys, they're the poster boys of the Games Workshop universe, which is okay. Like, they're a little boring, they're a little Boy Scouty, they're a little vanilla, but they're flexible and interesting enough to be the poster boys. And so what I said inappropriately in my Astartes reaction video was that in this universe, there's no good guys and no bad guys. There's no good guys. There's definitely bad guys. So that was a slip of the tongue. And as you can see, this is a good guy. This is a hero. And what does he do to a felled enemy? He executes him by shooting him in the back or the head. So these are our heroes. These are our protagonists. And they definitely kill the wounded. Now, of course, these people are people who worship the god of decay. But, you know, c'est la vie. In our context, it would not, in our modern moral context of warfare, it would not be good. And for those of you who are completely unaware, maybe this is your first video, these guys are 8 foot tall, genetically engineered super warriors who wear what amounts to spandex suits that plug directly into their body. The spandex suits that plug into their body offer them some level of protection, and then also hook up into what amounts to ceramite plate armor that is lightweight but very strong and can take a lot of punishment. These weapons they carry are bolt rifles. They are assault rifles that fire miniature missiles or miniature grenades that explode upon impact, which is why when they hit something, it dies almost instantaneously and sometimes gets blown apart. So let's continue the violence. This is an Auspex. An Auspex is kind of like the Blue Force Tracker in a modern American context. It is a motion sensor, radar, infrared, heat sensor, all wrapped into one, and it basically tells you when friendlies and enemies are close, and with a giant sign saying warning. I'm assuming that these battle brothers who are already down with bolt shells blown through their chests were likely killed by whatever the Auspex is warning us about. Here we go. Let's just rewind just a little bit so we can get the full view of them. These are Death Guard. These are Plague Marines in the modern context. Most of these people, now of course I'm pretty sure that like unaffiliated Space Marines, as somebody pointed out, unaffiliated Space Marines can pledge themselves to any chaotic god and become a Chaos Space Marine with their mark. But Plague Marines, very specifically, have the mark of Nurgle, the god of rotten decay. And their original traders, the Traitor Legion, that sold themselves to Nurgle was the Death Guard. And the Death Guard were originated from, some of them were Terran, or were raised on Terra during the raising of the First Legions. But other ones came from the planet of their Dark Lord Mortarion. I forget the name of their planet. But basically, it's a massive, noxious gas cloud that is barely survivable and has like haunting monsters on it. And it had like a feudal kingdom. And the Dark Lord that led the... hold on, let me just do this because I'm gonna fuck it up. So Death Guard, home world. All right, so Mortarion, homeworld of Barbarous. Okay, very good. Thank you for bearing with me. So the homeworld of Barbarous, and Mortarion was raised by the noble family who ruled it. He realized that his father was evil. He deposed his father, as all of the Primarchs did, and then he continued to imbibe of poisons and noxious gases because that was what his homeworld was like, and he believed that through exposing himself to poisons, noxious gases, and difficult situations, he could make himself stronger, and that's what he also believed of his legion. Saul Garrow, a Space Marine during the Horus Heresy of the Death Guard, originally born on Terra, already had some rivalries within the Death Guard command structure, but he was beloved by Mortarion, and he was spared by Mortarion from the Traitor Legions, but as a result of that sparing, he was able to escape and then warn of the Horus Heresy and the treachery that some of the Primarchs had done. The Marines, in this circumstance, pledged themselves to Nurgle, the god of rotten decay, and as a result, they are very tough to kill. Very tough to kill. They are essentially rotting inside their armor. They are falling apart. They don't feel any pain. No wounds will hurt them in their capacity to feel pain. You can actually rip them limb from limb and they won't feel it at all. And that'll come up in a little bit. But basically that's the story is Death Guard are from the noxious world of Barbarous. They're Dark Lord Mortarion turned traitor. They pledge themselves to the god of decay. They are rotting inside their armor, but they are eternal and immortal. And in order to kill one, you essentially have to rip them apart because they're incapable of feeling pain unless they're actually dying. All right, so one of the problems with fighting Nurgle's Chosen, and Nurgle loves his creations, is that anything they touch becomes infected. Infected with a disease that will evolve on the spot. So if you become infected with Nurgle's Blight through a plague weapon, these Space Marines likely are wielding plague weapons. If they stab a human or a Space Marine, that wound will become so infected that it's impossible to heal, and even Space Marines will die from the stab wounds from a plague weapon. It is disease incarnate in the universe, and it will evolve as you try to treat it with like modern medicine, antibiotics, antivirals, cleaning, antiseptics, all that kind of stuff. It will literally evolve in real time to deal with your attempts to heal the Space Marine. So what you will have to do is basically sever immediately before it gets into the bloodstream. You will immediately have to sever any limb that is potentially infected with Nurgle's Blight. And even then, if it's already in your bloodstream, you're screwed. So let's watch the violence again and just notice how a Space Marine lands a knife stab into the gut of the Nurgle champion, and it doesn't affect him one bit. Even though he has a 4-foot blade sticking in his stomach, he just kills the Space Marine that had, in other contexts, mortally wounded him, pulls it out, throws it aside, and continues with the fight. Man, Ultramarines can't catch a fucking break, can they? And what I mean by that is that Ultramar is like one of the only functional kingdoms or functional fiefdoms inside the Imperium of Man. There's like a million worlds, like half of them are under attack at any given point. And not only were they under attack by the Tyranids, which almost consumed the entire sector, but also the Plague War, I think, is a fairly recent historical event in which Nurgle decided that he was going to despoil the beautiful realm of Ultramar and the capital world of Macragge, so to varying degrees of effect. But lots of lore, lots of fun, lots of coolness. I do love Sodaz and his contributions. I know I made the mistake of comparing him to Astartes in the past. Sodaz does his own beautiful work, and while the graphics might be a little bit different style, I am very appreciative of the visceral nature of the violence and how close, or not how close, but how they can replicate real things from the lore into artistry that I then get to enjoy and I get to share with you, my subscriber. So thank you for watching. I do have a whole bunch of other reaction videos. I also have reaction videos to war media. I also do political debates. I do political conversations. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Discord if you want to ask for it. We don't let everybody in, but we do let people who ask in. And like, share, subscribe, dislike, all that YouTube nonsense. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.